Have you ever wondered what drives the most successful people in the world? What's the hidden force that propels them forward sometimes to the top and sometimes into destructive spirals? It's the darkness they refuse to face. In this video, we'll explore the 3 most dangerous personality types that secretly rule your life. And you might be surprised to find out which one governs you. There are 3 dark personality types that most men, whether they admit it or not, are completely blind to. They've been ruling your life in ways you can't even imagine. And here's the thing, this ignorance isn't harmless. It's why people are manipulated, discarded, or even forgotten in their own battles for power and success. But those who can recognize the darkness within themselves, they win. Because the truth is, power belongs to those who stop pretending to be good and start mastering the shadow that truly drives them. The real tragedy, most men don't even know which force governs their instincts, emotions, and ambition. And that lack of self-awareness is already deciding their fate. The first type, the narcissist, is often thought of as someone who loves himself. But that's not the case. In reality, he doesn't love himself at all. He needs others to love him. He needs attention. The narcissist walks into a room and doesn't scan for opportunity or power. He scans for validation. Who's looking at him? Who's praising him? And those who ignore him, well, they become invisible. At his core, the narcissist is terrified of being unseen. He builds an empire around admiration, but that empire is fragile. One insult, one rejection, and the facade cracks. He spirals into rage or despair. The narcissist is a man consumed by fragility. And his strength, it's all an illusion. Because the more he feeds on praise, the more he needs it to survive. If you praise him, he shines. If you ignore him, he withers. If you challenge him, he breaks. But there's something crucial you must understand. The narcissist can rise fast. He knows how to perform. He adapts. He seduces. But the moment that admiration fades, everything crumbles. The greatest tragedy for the narcissist isn't failure. It's the fading of praise. And when that happens, he manipulates guilt trips and lies to reclaim his pedestal. In relationships, he becomes controlling. In business, vindictive. His obsession with admiration doesn't just rule him, it destroys those around him. But the narcissist isn't the most dangerous of them all. That title goes to the Machiavellian. While the narcissist needs love, the Machiavellian needs leverage. He doesn't care if you like him or fear him. He only cares that you obey him. This type is built on one core belief: people are tools. They can be used, sharpened, broken, and replaced. The Machiavellian doesn't care about loyalty or kindness. Those are simply camouflage. To him, truth is a weapon. He'll wield it only when it serves him. You'll never see the Machiavellian's true nature until it's too late. He's always watching, learning, planning. You may think he's charming, even magnetic, but there's always something missing. His compliments calculated, his anger controlled, his stories crafted to create a specific perception. He doesn't speak to connect. He speaks to control. He plays the long game, gathering power without you ever realizing it. While others boast of their goals, he says nothing. He lets others reveal their plans while he silently moves the pieces on the board. The Machiavellian is dangerous because of his ability to maintain restraint. He doesn't act on impulse. He doesn't use force when manipulation will do. Every move is timed, every betrayal deliberate, and every alliance conditional. In this cold strategy, he controls the game. No one even knows they're being played. And by the time you realize it, he's already won. But even the Machiavellian has his weaknesses. There's one fatal flaw that can unravel him: arrogance. Once he starts believing that his strategy is infallible, once he underestimates others, he slips. No matter how controlled he is, his overconfidence can lead to his downfall. If the narcissist craves admiration and the Machiavellian calculates control, the psychopath represents something entirely different. He doesn't crave attention or strategy. He thrives on pure dominance. He doesn't hesitate. He doesn't negotiate. And he doesn't feel the weight of morality that governs most people. For him, conscience is a weakness, and hesitation is an enemy. This detachment makes him both terrifying and unpredictable. The psychopath acts on instinct with speed and precision. While others analyze risks, he has already made his move. His advantage comes from a chilling truth: he has nothing to lose. Because he has severed ties with guilt, regret, and even fear, he can walk through chaos completely unshaken. He can lie without blinking, manipulate without conscience, and destroy without remorse. He is not burdened by the past, nor is he concerned with the future. He lives in the raw intensity of the present moment, and that gives him explosive power. This makes him extraordinarily dangerous in times of crisis. While others freeze, he advances. While others are paralyzed by rules or morality, he simply ignores them. History is filled with figures who rose to power in moments of collapse because they were willing to cross lines others wouldn't. They become generals, CEOs, cult leaders, even warlords, not because they are more intelligent or more talented, but because they are unrestrained. But here lies the paradox. The psychopath may dominate, but he cannot build. Unlike the Machiavellian who strategizes for the long term, or the narcissist who seduces to maintain influence, the psychopath doesn't care for legacy. He thrives in conquest, not governance. His victories are immediate, but his empires are fragile. When the thrill of dominance disappears, he feels nothing, and that void consumes him. Here's the danger: many men admire the psychopath. They confuse his emptiness with strength, his detachment with freedom, his ruthlessness with power. But they don't see the cost. The psychopath's life is one of disconnection. He cannot love, he cannot attach, he cannot feel true joy. He may rule the room, but he is forever alone in it. When he wins, he stands isolated. When he loses, he vanishes. Either way, his story ends in emptiness. And yet most men are drawn to this type in moments of weakness. They believe that to win, they must become ruthless. They think the path to power is through the destruction of feeling. But this is a lie. The psychopath doesn't choose this path. He is this path. And the torment of his existence, his inability to belong, haunts him in ways that even he cannot admit. Now here's where it gets personal. You need to ask yourself which type lives inside you. Are you ruled by the hunger for praise, like the narcissist? Are you calculating and cold like the Machiavellian? Or have you crossed into the ruthless detachment of the psychopath? Most men are influenced by at least one. Many are ruled by a mix. But the rarest power lies not in denial, but in recognition. Because when you finally admit which dark instinct governs you, something rare happens. You gain awareness, and awareness is the beginning of mastery. You stop being a slave to your shadow. You stop pretending. Instead, you learn to direct it, to use it, to discipline it. The man who sees the narcissist in himself can tame it. The one who sees the Machiavellian can sharpen it. The one who recognizes the psychopath can chain it. He is not innocent, not safe, but awake. And in a world where most men sleepwalk through life, the awake man is the most dangerous of all. Once you confront the dark traits within you, a shift begins. You no longer seek validation through empty praise or power plays. You begin to master the parts of yourself that once controlled you. The narcissist no longer craves admiration as if it were his lifeblood. The Machiavellian no longer plays for leverage but for something deeper. And the psychopath, he realizes that true power comes not from domination, but from a different form of mastery, self-control. This transformation isn't easy. It's brutal. It requires facing a terrifying truth. Much of your life may have been guided by a thirst for something external, approval, control, and dominance. It's not a process for the faint of heart. But those who endure it become more than what they once were. They are no longer ruled by their shadows. They have learned to use them. The narcissist who has tamed his ego can wield influence with grace. The Machiavellian who has learned restraint can maneuver with purpose. And the psychopath, aware of his detachment, can now use his coldness to achieve clarity, not chaos. The final transformation happens when you no longer need others' opinions to validate your worth. The moment you stop performing for an audience is the moment you start becoming who you were always meant to be. But this journey requires vigilance. It requires constant self-awareness, and it demands an unflinching willingness to face the darkest parts of yourself. Here's where the paradox arises. Many people mistakenly believe that power lies in control over others. But the most powerful individuals are those who first control themselves. They no longer live to impress or manipulate. Instead, they act with purpose, guided by an internal compass that is not swayed by external forces. The narcissist who has evolved past the need for constant validation doesn't just shine in the spotlight, he is powerful in silence. The Machiavellian who has moved beyond manipulation no longer hides in the shadows. He steps into the light fully aware of his capabilities. The psychopath who has learned to temper his cold detachment now uses it to maintain control, not through violence or fear, but through discipline and strategy. This is the ultimate form of power. True mastery comes not from avoiding the dark parts of yourself, but from integrating them. You acknowledge your need for validation, your desire for control, your instinct for dominance, and you make them work for you, not against you. This is the crucial shift that separates those who are slaves to their shadows from those who are masters of them. The path to true power, however, comes at a cost. The price isn't just confronting your own darkness, it's also the sacrifices you must make along the way. You will alienate people. You will face discomfort. You will find that the more you evolve, the fewer people can keep up with your transformation. But that is part of the price. When you begin to step into your power, others will react. Some will admire you for it. Others will envy you. Some will even fear you. And that's when you must ask yourself, are you prepared to stand alone to walk a path where admiration isn't guaranteed and success is no longer the ultimate goal? Because the more you evolve, the more you realize that real power is not about domination. It's about sovereignty over yourself. True power isn't about bending others to your will. It's about bending your own mind and actions to your true purpose. You become a force in the world, not because you seek approval, but because you operate with purpose. The man who masters his shadow doesn't need anyone's validation. He is enough, and that is what makes him unstoppable. At the final stage of this journey, you realize that the greatest form of power is not about being loved or feared. It's about being sovereign, completely in control of your own self, your choices, and your actions. This is the ultimate freedom to live without being shackled by the expectations of others, to rise above the need for external validation, and to act from a place of internal clarity and strength. You no longer play the game of life for approval. You don't need applause to feel successful. The illusion that once governed you, the need to be admired, the desire to control, the hunger for domination has dissolved. You've stopped living for the audience. Instead, you live for yourself. The narcissist, the Machiavellian, the psychopath, all of these dark aspects that once controlled you are now integrated into a single cohesive force. You wield this power not destructively, but strategically. You're not just surviving in the world, you are shaping it according to your own values, your own purpose, and your own vision. The man who has mastered his shadow no longer performs. He becomes. He doesn't wear masks to fit in. He sheds them to reveal his true nature. This doesn't mean you stop caring about others. It means that you care about yourself enough to no longer rely on others to define your worth. You act not out of a need for validation, but because you are driven by something deeper, your own purpose. This is the highest form of power, the rarest achievement. To no longer be ruled by your impulses or your past, but to move through the world with a sense of quiet authority, knowing that you are the one who has chosen this path. The most powerful individuals are not those who dominate others, but those who have conquered themselves. The real cost of this power is not in the external sacrifices, but in the internal commitment to self-awareness, discipline, and truth. You must constantly return to that question, who am I when no one is looking? And when you answer that honestly, you will no longer be afraid of the darkness. You will have turned it into your greatest strength. So let me ask you now, which mask are you wearing? Are you ready to face the shadow within and master it? Can you step into your true power, free from the need for applause and control? If this message resonates with you, write in the comments, I master my shadow. Let's see who among you is truly ready to turn awareness into power. And remember, the journey is just beginning. Keep watching and keep evolving.